what I might do is I might wait for a bit, like before I do my review on the book.
Uh-huh.
Just so I can wait until Mark David Hall's book comes out, where he goes over the similar sounding thing.
Uh-huh.
Although he argues for a Christian, like he doesn't per se argue for a Christian nation, in the sense that he believes America was made to be like a Christian theocracy.
Yeah.
He more or less argues that America had influence from Christianity, which is very trivial.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, you're going to say that, like, a nation that's been 99, like, that was founded 99% full of Christians is somehow got influences from them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Of
really.
course they got influence from Christianity, because that was the only religion there at the time to get influence
Right.
from.
Yeah. And as far as I know,
I
I'm not
mean,
sure about this, but the first Americans were Britain, right? Is that true, or do you think, or
I mean, the first Americans were Indians.
okay? No, I mean, like this, when our nation was founded, though, and the Constitution was written, to me, I think most of them came from over Britain. I mean, where did they come from? They had to come from somewhere because they filled the lands, and they had to come
Yeah.
from somewhere.
Well, yeah, some of them migrated. Like, here's what's funny about it is, like, they'll never mention the fact that, like, at no point in our nation's history did we ever, like they'll say, oh, look, they're going to make a theocracy. I'm like, this is the least religious time we've ever lived in America. Like, when America was first founded, we were just, like, there were still some state churches.
Yeah.
George Washington lived in a state, like, in Virginia when it had a state church.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, and here's the thing, at no point, and even in that time frame, did they think, oh, a theocracy was going to form.
No, of
Like,
course not.
I mean, what I always found funny is, like, I tell them this, is like, you know, I see that these theocracy people, like, these, I call them theocracy alarmists. They're basically like end time Christians to me. As in, hey, you know, I tell them, if America's going to become a theocracy, give me a date.
Really? Yeah.
You know, give me a date when this theocracy is going to come. You know, because that way, if you're wrong, you know, we can all hold you accountable for it.
What is your thoughts on the Treaty of Tripoli? Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and that's one argument atheists try to present to undermine the United States as a Christian country, founded in Christianity.
Well, here's the thing. For one, it's an invalid document.
Right.
Because for one, it has nothing to do with really the founding of America.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, and basically, too, it's an invalid document because there wasn't an agreement between Christians and Muslims. I mean, not Christians and Muslims, between America and the Muslims at the time.
Right.
And people don't understand the context, because when they were saying that we are not an American nation, I mean, we're not a Christian nation, or we have never been a Christian nation, they were talking to Muslims who were literally a Muslim nation.
Yeah.
So they were saying we're not a theocracy.
No, we're not. We're not a theocracy, and God didn't even intend it to be a theocracy either. The only theocracy was the Mosaic Covenant, and that was it. And that even, you can say that kind of dissolved away too, because I mean there was so much rebellion and so much like all this other crap going on with idolatry, and they got scattered around all these places. So even that dissolved, the theocracy and the Mosaic Covenant. But yeah, and another thing is the Treaty of Tripoli was not even the first treaty with a non-Christian nation. The Treaty of Tripoli was actually the third of the Barbary treaties. I didn't even know that either.
Well, I mean, again, here's the thing. They said the government is in no way a Christian nation. They never said that, like, so basically they're saying that the government is not a theocracy. They never said that that America in general wasn't founded by Christian principles.
Right.
They just said the government wasn't a theocracy, really.
Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, these are just stupid arguments they come up with to try to undermine our Christian nation. Even though it's not of course it's not a theocracy, but it's still founded in Christian principles. And it should be, because that's the 10 Commandments. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want the 10 Commandments being the foundation for morality? It's certainly not going to be nihilism with atheism. I mean, come on. You have to have some type of framework, a moral framework that people can understand as objective, and it's obviously is only the 10 Commandments.
Well, you know what's funny? They always bring up humanism and utilitarianism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They said you don't forget like all the harm that both movements have done.
What?
Like John Mills, who basically was a pioneer of utilitarianism. He used utilitarianism to justify British colonialism.
What?
Going to different lands and
and
enslaving and taking land away from people, because he said it was for a better good that the British nation conquered these people.
Yeah, and that's the same guy who invented utilitarianism.
He didn't so much invent it; he just sort of he gave it a grounding.
Yeah. Okay.
It's sort of like he didn't invent it; he innovated it.
I see. Okay.
You can say utilitarianism goes all the way back to ancient Greek.
Yeah.
There was prototypes of utilitarianism, and what John Mills did is he simply innovated, he formulated a methodology and a concept around these principles that were already existent.
So he revolutionized it, then, in other words.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It existed. It predated him by thousands of years, but he simply gathered all these concepts and he made a coherent theology from it. All right.
Yeah, well, I learned something else there. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I don't believe in I believe in objective morality, obviously. But all these secular morality, secular movements have never worked. I mean, look through history. Look at the secular regimes, what they've done. This murder, it's just filled with murder and bloodthirsty murders.
Well, even look at the European nations now when they're being infested by Muslims.
Oh yeah. Talk about a theocracy. They're trying to push their
Sharia law.
Yeah, whatever. Sharia law, yeah. So that is a true theocracy, and it's not good either. Oh man. So Christians have we got our enemies out there, our opponents. We got the atheists, and then we got Muslims too. But in the end, I think, so I'm a believer. I feel like God's going to overcome this, and he's going to be victorious in this, and we get to be victorious with him.
Either that or Muslims will cut your head off.
Yeah. Convert or get your head cut off. And I would rather get my head cut off. Seriously.
Well, you have to admit their proselytation methods are pretty convincing.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I guess you can, when you have the razor on your neck and you can feel it cutting in. Yeah, it's probably would make you not, but
it's a good convincing argument.
Yeah. True. But there's so many martyrs though that didn't, do that. I think that's a pretty compelling argument for Christ and the motivation and, in people with the Holy Spirit. So yeah.
I actually joked about Armin Navabi from Atheist Republic because he's a former Muslim who's now an atheist, and Like he talked about how he jumped out of a building so he could go into heaven because he wanted to do it before he reached the age of accountability.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
and I said he was such a bad Muslim that he forgot you're supposed to fly into buildings, not jump out of them.
Oh gosh, but see, he's so stupid because he's making himself accountable for even thinking about accountability. Come on, man. Oh, some people.
I know. Well, I mean, you at least know, you know where sales drop, and and actually, no. What's funny is like they'll note how all these secular nations have low crime rate. You know who else has low crime rates?
Who?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but I would like to see what secular nation. What one are they talking about? Because some of these ones I've heard atheists talk about are actually very theistic, and they never get these statistics right. Like Iceland or something they brought up one time, and I seen Iceland has like 79% churches or something there.
Well, I mean, here's what they fail to realize is that many of these so-called secular nations have state churches.
Yeah, exactly.
They are by definition not secular then.
Right. Is there some like they're trying to get this secular utopia where it's just like they can have their where it's just do what you will or whatever. I think there was an actually there was a Satanist who would like popularize that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's some bald dude, like he was like real evil, like really even looks like an
Oh,
evil dude.
I'm trying to remember. I know who you're talking about. I think I know his name is like Levy or something.
Yeah, Lavelle or something, and
Yeah.
yeah, and like he had this morality where do without wilt. And like if you want to murder, do it. If you want to rape people, do it. If you want to smoke and do drugs and do all that stuff, that's I mean, do it
It's not rape if they like it.
Yeah, like they made jokes, like if he was like in prison, if like a gay, or something, like they would enjoy it or something. But
Well, guess who's the new spokesperson for Tylenol? Bill Cosby.
Did you see OJ Simpson stuff? Like he's like doing tweets and stuff, and like people are telling him to shut up. Like he should be in jail, or even worse, like even the death penalty because he murdered someone, and like he's out and he's still
he was proved innocent.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, like I don't know. I mean, I guess but he was through the court of law. I guess he was, deemed innocent, but I don't know. I think there's other arguments that show that he is guilty, though, in my opinion, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're just saying that because he's black.
Yeah, I'm racist.
Again, you just want to see him go to jail because he's black.
I want to see the black man struggle.
Check your white privilege.
Yeah. And that's the narrative that your libtards try to preach to people out in the public and the social media and all that too. That the big bad Christians are just racist and they hold back the black man and all this. I mean, in reality, it's them. It's projection. Of course, they're the ones doing it.
I know. They're the ones making all the policies that are holding them back.
Right. It is. You look at Chicago. Look at Detroit. Those are liberal strongholds, and you can see that how bad the stuff is. I mean, I'm just bringing up stats, though. I mean, black on black crime there is through the roof. I mean, just because I'm just saying a fact doesn't mean I'm racist. It just means that it's the truth. I mean, how can you say otherwise?
I mean, look at California, for example.
Yeah.
California is just so god awful. You have to worry about stepping in a homeless person and a syringe.
Yeah, but also dung and pee.
And Muslims. Although, I think that also fits into dung and pee.
Yeah. And it's other places too, like Seattle now. I can't believe Seattle's like that. Their crime rate, did you know like their local congressmen, whatever, they're trying to get rid of the police. Like they don't want their place to be policed. They just want the crime. I mean, to me,
That's lovely.
yeah.
Just
And
nuke
people are getting
them.
murdered and stuff, and it's okay. I mean, it's what I'm saying. The do without will. So they're having their liberal utopia, and it's a living hell. But they don't. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean. If it's everything. Found your country in like the Bible, because that protects things like what's going on in Seattle right now. I mean, it's total devastation. The
Actually,
Bible should
just
be the foundation.
have it founded on Buddhism.
Buddhism, yeah.
I mean, at the very least, people would be quiet.
Yeah. Really? And I think they have their own version of the golden rule, right? I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Or better yet, have your state based on deism.
Yeah, or even that's still better than atheist or any secular bullshit.
I know. I mean, here's a fun but true fact: the term "free thinker" came up by a deist.
I'm not surprised.
Deists were the original free thinkers. It was atheists who stole it from us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, so yeah.
Although I will say, it's not like deists are without blood on their hands. They do have some.
Really,
like
the dirt on them.
Well, I mean, deists did try to establish basically a theocracy, like in France.
Really?
With the cult of the supreme being.
Huh.
So they did do that. Well, and there were some deists that promoted Christ mythicism as well.
Wow.
And still do, sadly.
All right, that's pathetic. I guess. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you're pathetic, Brass. No, I'm just kidding. I know you're not like that.
Well, then you're a heretic.
Yeah. At least you're not a Calvinist, so I think that's really only that matters. As long as you're not a Calvinist.
Yeah, that's worse.
A predestined heretic.
Well, I mean, you have to remember that God predestined you to be a modalist.
Yeah, exactly.
And he also predestined you to go to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, you ever seen those memes where Jesus is sitting on the bench with a kid? And like there's one with the Calvinists, like the kids, like say, "Hi, Jesus," or whatever, and then like he has his talk bubble, he goes, "I'm predestining you to go to hell." Like it's like so stupid, like this Calvinism stuff. And that's what I'm addressing on with this James White, and like he has a huge base of followers.
As much as Steven Anderson?
Way more.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And they're like little brainwashed bots. I mean, they're like puppets. They don't think for themselves, these people.
So you can say they're white lovers?
Exactly. You can say they're like deists. No, I'm just kidding with you.
They're white supporters.
Yeah. So yeah, I was addressing in this hangout tonight with Leighton Flowers. That's one of my favorite Bible teachers I follow, and like he was outrightly trying to demonize them and stuff. And I just thought, I would expose that. In fact, I was going to go show something with Matthew to debunk his stupid argument. Oh, there it is. And like he's saying, like if you're called, you're automatically elected or chosen. Well, I mean, look at Matthew 22:14. It says, "For many are called." So already there's a distinction, and few are chosen. So that's a self-contradiction there. It would be many are elected and chosen, but it says few are chosen. So outrightly, that debunks his stupid argument. And also, the word "called" here, he thought it meant anything but invite. Well, look, even by Thayer, the Greek, Greek scholar, shows invited. There it is. You stupid bald. I mean, I like to call them ultra crepidarians, but I guess he could be more of a Dunning Kruger. I don't know. Like there it is, invited, or he's trying to deceive people. I don't know,
Or both.
or both. Invitation. So, I mean, how else can you get more clear? An invitation. No one. I mean, to me, that's a self contradiction to say that invite means to be coming. Like, no, invite is conditional. I mean, like you can't just say that it means that they are coming. It's so stupid. And I was showing the RC2 in my debate that just because it says that I think in John 6:44 it says the Father draweth or something, and they can come. It says they can come. It doesn't say they will come.
Oh, why does Jesus always have sex twice?
Why?
So he can have a second coming?
Oh my god. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, like the language is funny, but I mean, yeah, I can see, but yeah, I mean, I don't take that like it's personal or anything, but I can see the humor behind that though.
What was Jesus' favorite band?
What?
9 Inch Nails.
Oh god.
What was Jesus doing on Good Friday?
What?
Hanging around.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, I mean those could be blasphemous, but I know where you're coming from though. I mean, you're not trying to,
Yeah.
I think your mic is it my mic or is your mic coming out or something?
It's your mic.
Hold on. There should be. There we go.
Look at it this way, and look at it that way, and then look at
The
it
hell
this
is James
way.
White talking?
No matter
What?
what kind of perspective I try to take, eventually you just go, "That's Pelagianism, son." I mean, semi-Pelagianism on your better days, but just full-on Pelagianism on your worst days.
Do you see like what he sounds like? Such a freaking arrogant asshole.
Which day is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But choice.
That's what all Calvinists sound like, really, when you look at them.
Yeah, and that's true. That is very true. So I'm not a fan of Calvinism, obviously, and so.
And Calvinism isn't a fan of you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, I guess it just equals out then. Like both sides don't like each other.
Yeah, so I mean, at least it's mutual.
Mutual, exactly.
I'm actually taking a picture of the new book I got.
Oh, sweet.
Trying to see. Oh, got it. Let's see. All right, and
I need to. I thought usually Olive Branch comes in here. I don't know what's going on with her. Yeah, I'm definitely going to offer or bring it up to James for me and you to debate Josh and Skylar. What's your impression of Skylar? I just think he's just a big bumbling idiot with like he gets all worked up.
yeah, me too. I think he goes off topic a lot.
Yeah. But it's always a lot of incredulity. Like, I just can't believe this or something. Like, but he just always distorts it too. So he's just like one of those people that just doesn't understand things, I guess. I don't know. But he tries to make his misunderstanding like an argument. Like, just because you don't understand something doesn't make it an argument.
No, not at all. Your stupidity isn't an argument.
Right.
Well, except for, getting rid of the secular public school system. It is an argument for that.
Yeah. I'm going to message James real quick. What did you... We could do like New Testament too to have something different.
Yeah.
I'll see what he says. I don't even know what's going on with James. Like, he's been out doing shit lately. I don't know what he's doing.
Cocaine and hookers.
Yeah. That'd be fun. It'd probably never happen, but if it did, man, I would be so excited for that.
Me too.
I pretty much covered everything. Are you gonna show that picture or something, or
The what?
that picture of their book?
Oh, not right now. I'm gonna post it on Twitter or something.
Oh, okay. I don't even see anyone in the chat box. I don't know if anyone's even on.
I don't know.
So, I don't know. I might cut it off. I don't know. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, you can cut it.
Yeah, I think. Wait a minute. I think she might come in. We'll see if she comes in here. Then I'm gonna cut it off if she doesn't.
All right.
I appreciate you coming in tonight, though, man. I enjoy talking with you. You always have intellectual discussions, and like there's something always to learn. Unlike other people, they're just so boring and like they don't bring anything to the discussion usually. I mean, at least you have something that has substance to it.
Yeah.
So I respect that about you at least. So you're welcome anytime to come in. So
All right. I'm glad to be on.
yeah, and I enjoy your discussion and dialogues. And I hope me and you could actually go against Skylar. And I mean, I would go full throttle him too. I would just try to embarrass him and make a joke out of them. I mean, to me, that's what they amount to. This Josh's scholarship is pathetic. It's not worth his degrees. The way he interprets scripture, no way.
Well, he's a liberal, so you already know him.
Yeah, exactly. Liberal scholar. Yeah, I'm gonna mirror your woman misogyny video.
That'd be good.
Yeah, and also your slavery one you just put out too of Dillahunty.
Yeah, I actually like that one.
Yeah, and like you had some good animations in there. What did you use for all your animations and stuff?
Oh, I use like I basically just use this. I used to use this project called ABS Video Editor. Now I'm moving on to Adobe Premiere.
Oh, okay, Adobe Premiere. I think that's what IP uses. So I'm not sure though.
He is.
How do people get so advanced in that stuff? Like, is there tutorials out there or is it this all like,
It's tutorials.
okay. There's all a branch.
Hello.
Hey, this is Brass, and like he's really cool. He used to be a Christian, but he's not an atheist, but he's a deist. But yeah, Brass is really cool. He knows so much about the Old Testament and Bible. I use him, for valuable resources and information and stuff. So yeah.
Very good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Oliver.
And he is kind of a jokester too. So like,
Very good. Very good.
yeah, I've known Brass for about a year. No, like 2 years at least.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, through JMD's channel. Where's Rob been? What's Rob been doing? I mean, I'd like to get him in here too sometime.
Rob the Deflator.
Yeah, deflating atheism. Like he's really keen on subjects too.
Yeah, he loves trolling atheists as well.
Yeah, I like Rob. He's a pretty cool dude. I don't know if he's denominational or anything. I don't know what his like beliefs are.
Catholic.
Oh, he's Catholic. Okay, and so is Red Pill.
He's a Mary worshipping pagan.
I like Red Pill because like he doesn't put up with BS from people, and I respect that. And he gets painted as a monger or a hate monger, and no, he's not a hate monger. He doesn't put up with BS. So I respect that. So Olive Branch, do you have something to say about Donald Trump?
About Donald Trump, yeah. He's a scam.
Yeah.
He's part of the Kabbalist and all this and that. It's or you could even say a Jesuit, but it's not like a Jesuit what people think. It's like a form of the Masons. And if you study him and study his upbringing, his family, and all of that, it like the dots start to connect. And there's a lot. I mean, there's so much, and you have the religious beast that surrounds him, like your prosperity pimps, and these are not even like the real evangelicals. I mean, they're frauds, and they surround him. And there was one that even lied and said that Trump accepted Christ, and then Trump himself said that he doesn't believe in repentance. He believes in doing good, and that's what your Jews believe. And if Trump was a real a Christian, and if he actually read the Bible, then because he called the Bible his favorite book. And just like if somebody has a favorite book, they know what it says. And for starters, he wouldn't be rolling Easter eggs, and he wouldn't be involved in pagan customs. He wouldn't even entertain other religions. He would not, because he knows that God is a jealous God. He and there was and I forget, there was some ceremony that they had at the White House a few months ago, and I forget the religion that these people were, but he was lighting their candles, and he called because they believed in multiple gods, and he called their multiple gods his God. And he says, at least we can all say God bless or something. And he's a big fraud. He's a total fraud. And he's really a part of the deception, and there are supernatural forces that are going on, and just like how the Bible, it tells us about the end of days, and it's all just to bring in Satan, and his face is on a third a temple coin, and there you have a temple for Satan. I mean, he's not ignorant to the stuff he's doing. And I mean, excuses can only get you so far. And people just need to flat out say that they like him instead of throwing God behind it. They just need to say, okay, I like him, and stop throwing God behind Donald Trump. I mean, there's nothing about God with that man. In fact, he even had a Babylonian goddess's crotch on the side of his New York building. I mean, there's nothing, and these are things that provoke God to anger. He's a jealous God. And and then I mean, I can go on for days, but there's so much, and I have so many notes of actual facts, and they're not from conspiracy websites. I mean, these are actual facts about him and his family, and it goes on and who he is connected to, and the ties that he is connected to his son-in-law. I mean, these are wicked people. They do bad things. And he says that he's against the swamp, and he's going to drain the swamp. Well, yeah, he drained the swamp, and he filled it with a sewer pit.
Drain a weasel.
Yeah. And people really need to do their investigation before they decide to give that spiritual support.
Right. And didn't he have like a ball or something? He was.
Yeah, and then he touched some ball with the Saudi guy, and he's also doing exactly what Hillary Clinton said she was going to do during the debates. If people actually go back and listen to her speak of what she said about Iran and Syria and Russia and all these people, Donald Trump is doing the exact same thing. It's just like how you have two wings on a bird. It's still the same bird. Okay, I mean, there's so much deception going on, and forces that people are so blinded to. And I'm sure if we all knew the exact truth and heard their exact conversations, I'm sure we would all have nightmares. I mean, it is wicked crap. It is wicked crap.
I agree.
I mean, I don't support Hillary. I don't support none of them. I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal. I don't like titles, because we are children of God. I'm not involved in a group, because that is separation. And that is what the enemy does. He divide, just like Christ said, a house divided cannot stand. And the way our systems are now, it creates a house divided. And now it's to the point where it is good versus evil. And
Yep.
and the deception is so bad. And it just comes down to what Christ said, to render unto Caesar what is his, and to render unto God what is God's. And if God comes first in every aspect of your life, then what is left for Caesar? There you go. Bingo. I mean, like light bulbs should be going off with these people. And it is truly a delusion that these people are in. And I constantly still hear, lock her up, lock her up. She's not going to jail. She's not. Donald Trump and her were very good friends. It has always been that way. They're good friends. They are a part of the same club. And this is not a conspiracy. I mean, it is real. In fact, even the Bible tells us about the good figs and about the bad figs. And it tells us about the conspiracy against God. And there is no mystery to Babylon. That Babylon is coming back. So for Babylon to come back, it's not going to be honky-dory, and Cyrus is not going to be riding a horse to save America. Like, who do we think we are? That's way too prideful to think that America, that has this statue of the harlot in New York that stands tall, and people salute to her, and they really think that the judgment of God is not going to come upon this nation, when it's going to come across every nation. And we are all going to be held accountable for what each and every one of us has done. But it's not a good time to play with deception. People really need to open their eyes and actually research for themselves. And they will see the ties and the connections that Trump has to these evil forces, not good people. And even look at Henry, what's his name, Praise?
Ford.
Yeah.
Henry Ford.
Yeah, and his book, talking about a new world order. Okay, he's never been shy about that. He's always been very outspoken, and he's actually going to praise Donald Trump on his foreign affairs. And these people that know about him and about his lies and wickedness, they turn their heads because they put their trust in Donald Trump. And it's so stupid. They don't even know the man. It's like going to a church a service that says, send me $5,000 and you'll be blessed, and I'll send you this holy water so I can go buy my Bentley.
You see that one guy though that he says that God talked to him so he can have a plane.
Yeah, there's no difference. And these same vipers that are in the religious beast are surrounding Donald Trump, that tell people to sow their seed to be blessed, and they rob people. But now that is ignorance on their part, and it's sad that they're actually being spiritually raped and robbed.
Yeah, like I don't even blame the guys that are behind there doing the the promotions and stuff. I blame the retards that pay them the money.
because they want to be blessed when God's the one that does the blessing. There's nothing about sowing a seed to be blessed.
I agree. And this is what I'm saying. Like, they should be held accountable for that type of mental midgetry. You can't be that freaking stupid. You even open up the Bible and call yourself a Christian. I mean, come on. Oh,
Yeah, and these are very they're very trying times, and I understand that that folks are going through a hard time because this nation has been so destroyed. It really has been, and and the a glimmer of hope in a leader, and I can understand that, and it's really sad at how this had to go down, but it's really the perfect perfect recipe, though, because that's what Obama did to the left, and how the left viewed Obama is the same way the right views Donald Trump, and not a damn thing was done, just lies and destruction. That's all that went on.
so what's
I mean,
your
that's usually always what goes on in politics in general.
yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Very good. And it's been that way for years. And there's nothing new under the sun. And every election,
Yeah, there's always some corruption going on.
people are like bobbleheads, and they try to go in expecting a new recipe, and it's always the exact same. It is. Same with George Bush, same with Bill Clinton and the Kennedys. I mean, it is disgusting how people allow themselves to be just used that way, to have their emotions just used. And but knowledge is a beautiful gift, and and now there's tools that people have to get the information. All they have to do is just want to search out. They don't need to go to a conspiracy website, a conspiracy video. All they have to do is just actually research a person, because they're like fingerprints, through someone's life, and they're there.
All right. And what's your views on Calvinism?
I do not like it, and you know that I do not like it. I don't. I think for free will is a beautiful gift, and I think that free will.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. I think that's a misnomer. I think that it's better to say free choices because
Okay, free choices. Okay, free
Yeah.
choices. I guess it's a play on words, but
right.
that choice to love God and to choose God and to choose to do good.
Uninhibited choice, and I mean, I subscribe to that viewpoint, and that's, I'm sure people like Calvinists would get mad at or object to, but who cares? I could care less what stupid Calvinists think anyway.
And I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, wait, did you watch my James White section I did tonight? Or my piece on James White?
I did.
What about you, Olive? Well, Olive went somewhere.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm here now. What'd you say?
Did you watch my piece on James White earlier?
Bits and pieces. I had to go. It was like when you were showing his video.
Yeah.
I watched parts of that, but I heard you with that Richard guy, and then I had to go. And in fact, I thought your video was over with. I was actually really surprised that you were still on.
Yeah, and I'm glad Brass came on because we got into a good discussion. I learned stuff. Always when I hear Brass, I always learn something new. So, yeah, I learned some good stuff about the Treaty of Tripoli. But there's so much other stuff I learned too. It's hard to remember now.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yep. So I don't think this one guy's coming on.
Did he say he was going to come on?
No, and
Well, he said he was going to come, but he didn't say what he was coming on.
oh, okay. No, and there's a reverberation, but should I keep it going or what? I don't know. I mean, I could do some other stuff. I could do some more critiques and stuff.
I mean, you can let it go so I can charge my phone.
Oh, does that help you charge your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll let it go.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna do something. Then I'm gonna do what they call live. I'm gonna do some more live responses into James White or someone. Ooh, Dillahunty, I could do him. Here's Aaron Raw. I could do him. Oh,
everyone's done him.
The way he said that, but here's the one on the tag argument. Whoops. Falsifying God. There's James White's face there. What? There we go. So, Olive or Brass, if you have something to say, just interject, whatever. Just say something. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna.
What would your view? How would materialism explain anything if it didn't use science?
It could give a philosophically robust abductive explanation without the use of science.
It would have to rely on science.
No, it wouldn't have to. It could be a metaphysical. No, again. So this is the equivocation. This is the assumption that you're making. That if it isn't science,
distinguishes materialism from science?
Brass, I don't know if you heard of a guy named Darth Dawkins.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, and like he has some presuppositional arguments. What do you think of him? Do you think he's too strong on his presuppositions, or do you agree? Yeah. A lot of people don't like him. Like he's too, I guess arrogant or whatever. So this is that type of argument that you have to ground logic and truth and stuff. So I'm going to keep going.
What explains it distinguishes what?
What distinguishes materialism from science?
Materialism is the philosophical implications of
or
what
methodological.
So there's all of cooking, not cooking. So this one guy wrote some. Hold on. This one guy, you're coming on. I think. Oh. Whoops. Coming. I meant coming. Yeah, not cooking. Oh gosh. Okay, we keep going.
Or methodological, which is what science uses. So
materialism is a philosophical position.
I'm sorry, that's methodological naturalism. I'm sorry, we were talking about materialism. Again, if we're using materialism, then a materialist, I as a materialist, would have to use science, right?
Or metaphysical philosophy.
Or I could make stuff up.
But I don't agree with you that that's making things up.
Well,
Again,
we can't show anything if we can't show.
So okay, all of and Brass. I don't know if you heard of scientism. It's a philosophical belief that science.
Oh, I know about it. J.P. Moreland talked about it.
Yeah, that scientism is the explanation for everything. That the scientific method is the only way to the truth. And I think Dillahunty, does the same viewpoint, but it's circular. It's self-refuting. You need something. You need to have an exterior epistemology to justify something that justifies the science you're doing. I mean, it's self-refuting, and like it's a narrow-minded. So it's like such a wimpy philosophical viewpoint, and this is what Aaron Ra is. He puts this scientism as like a religion almost.
So that anything that we're talking about is true. If we don't have a requirement that we have to have evidence to base those assertions on, we have no way of verifying.
Yeah, and this is another one of those buzzwords, evidence. Like, who's the arbiter of evidence? Like, are you the arbiter of evidence? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You need some type of epistemological framework to justify what evidence is. And he's such a big goonball. Like if you ever told him that, he would never be able to respond to that, or he would try to deflect, whatever.
Verifying that there's any truth to what we're saying, and there's no way to prove that what we're saying is wrong. If it is, then we have nothing of value.
But yeah, remember, I don't grant information.
Did you say something, Olive? I guess not.
The only value information can have is however accurate you can show it to be. And if you can't show it that it's accurate at all, then it has no value at all.
And we're now back at the principle that what you just said is itself not falsifiable, as I've shown.
How?
Because there's no evidence that you would allow that could falsify it. So again,
no evidence that I would allow that would, it has nothing to do with what I would allow. We're talking about the principles of science. It's not me. I didn't set the rules. I'm just quoting the rules others have set. Okay? And what are we talking about that we would need to falsify about my position?
Your standard of falsification itself.
What is my standard of falsification? And why is that relevant here?
Because you keep running back to, and by the way, this is all within the context of, I'm still waiting for any naturalistic, materialistic, or atheistic explanation of the laws of logic.
I don't know why you're waiting for what you've already got.
But you haven't given one. You basically said,
the one that I gave was in order to exist at all, in order for the universe to exist, in order for God to exist, in order for anything to exist, it has to have properties. Those properties have to be something, right? These properties apply even to God. These properties are innocent.
Yeah, it's circular. Like if you're subjecting God to your understanding and like properties. What does he mean by that? Is he talking physical material? And I could even contend that there is no such thing as physical properties anyway in quantum mechanics. So this guy's such a blithering idiot.
Capable, regardless what the hell you are, right?
That's not an explanation. That's a description.
That is a description.
Not an explanation.
That is a description. And the explanation behind it is there's no possibility for even God to be any other way.
Again, that's not an explanation. That's a
again, that is an explanation, but you're not going to accept it. So let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
The next one that you brought up was objective morality. Now you told me that I needed to, and I guess we should qualify here. You said that if materialism, naturalism, atheism, by which I have to use science in any of those categories, and certainly in all of those categories, everybody using all of those categories, absolutely every single person using all of those categories, or any one of those categories, is going to have to use science if they're going to provide.
But see, here's the thing, though. Science is science without. Okay, let's just say science has nothing to do with humans interpreting science. I don't know what he means by that. When he says science, like, is he saying humans who interpret science, or is he talking about science itself? If you're going to say that science has to do with humans interpreting science, that is self-refuting. You need something to justify a subjective, philosophical framework, like with humans' interpretation, like empirical. Like, who cares if what scientists say, it doesn't mean anything because it's flawed. It's inherently flawed because it's empirical. Humans are using their senses to interpret science, so that obviously is self-refuting. But if he's going to go to the epistemological viewpoint, of science itself, the scientific method, maybe, well, then he has a case at least. At least he has something that like an epistemological framework. So I don't know what he means by science. Like, they always equivocate words. What the hell does he mean by that?
Right. But if they're going to provide an explanation, then they have to.
I disagree.
Okay. I know that you disagree with the philosophy of science, and
I don't disagree with the philosophy of science. I disagree. I just disagree with scientism, which is what you're presenting.
You can't just say.
So now he's saying science is a philosophy. I mean, he's refuting himself. Does he even know that the philosophy of science includes an epistemology that has nothing to do with human observable testing? Observations and experiments. I mean, they're two different things.
The magic teapot did it. Just because you want to believe that.
Yeah, and that's a rhetorical argument. That is propaganda to try to ad hominem. Well, he's not trying to. It's like it could be like an ad hominem. I don't know if he's trying to personally attack him, but it's definitely propaganda to try to bring up other, like the flying teapot and all this. No one believes that is a non sequitur to what we're talking about. We're talking about intelligibility. And if you're talking about a teapot, the properties of a teapot is not intelligible anyway. I mean, we can go through all this stupid non sequitur, irrelevant to what's going on here.
You have.
I'm not saying that.
There's some.
And by the way, you can't just define it by definitional fiat.
And that's not what I'm doing either.
And if you read Igliucci, if you read Nagel, if you read Bruce, if you read any of those, they disagree with you. You cannot simply say
everybody disagrees with you. So we wait until you read the Stanford Philosophy of Science description or the Encyclopedia of.
I actually have read it. I'm interested in what flaws do you think.
Then let's suspend that we've been and out.
There he goes, Mr. Knowledge himself. Like, only he is the holder of knowledge. It's like, I don't understand this stigma where Christians don't research things. I mean, look at even IP. He brings in like 50, 60 sources of citation of research in every debate. Like, he way outdoes most atheists.
We're in 10 minutes and we haven't even started yet because we're still arguing over what we're starting with. You're misrepresenting me. I'm accurately depicting you, and it's irritating the fuck out of you. And you're misrepresenting me every way that you can. So I'm
actually not irritated, even though I do think you're misrepresenting me because you're.
I'm not.
Again,
See, here we go. Here we go.
You are misrepresenting.
Here we go. The atheist psychoanalyzing the theist and Christian again. That's all they do. Like, whenever they get threatened or they're backed into the corner, they start psychoanalyzing people. You're just thinking this because you're thinking this. You're doing this. So it's just one of these tactics that atheists do.
That it has to be this way, that we can't even make progress, and that you have to keep blaming things on me that are clearly not my fault, and you have to keep associated with me a logical positive, and when that's clearly not the case, no matter how many times I deny it, you still try to stick me with it. But fine, you keep misrepresenting me. We'll give you the references, and we'll start this conversation again when you realize why, not me, but everybody in the philosophy of science, all philosophers disagree with you.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, like there's the consensus or something like all the philosophers are with him. I mean, there's no site. Of course, he doesn't provide any credibility with that.
What is required to make a philosophical, or excuse me, a scientific explanation? It's not me and what I refuse to accept. It's what science refuses to accept or cannot accept for logical reasons.
Well, again, philosophy of science
but what they
different
cannot
than
accept
science
for logical reasons.
I mean, philosophy of science is different than science itself. Do you think philosophy of science is a monolithic thing, that there's only one theory of science and they all are uniformly agreeing with what you're saying?
No, it's clearly not one theory, but then you and I think we definitely have a different idea of what a theory is. So let me just leave.
Yeah, exactly. I think that guy's pretty good.
Here, I understand there's philosophy of science and then there's the practice of science, and then the philosophy of science does not necessarily all sciences include. I get that. Okay, so don't laugh at my ignorance. I'm not as ignorant as you think. Okay, so
I'm not saying you're ignorant.
You are positing, and you are wrong. You are positing that God can and ever has been a possible, potential scientific explanation ever in history. No. The thing you were saying earlier, the thing you actually did say earlier in the thing.
Hey, Praise.
That, well, some scientists can get into cosmos.
I'm going to go. My phone's dying.
All right, man, Brass, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I hope you come back another time. I enjoy your dialogue, and when you come in there, I appreciate that.
All right, see you, man.
See you, man. Yo, all